you kind of put a dent in the film for me there when you say that like they're just happy to go murder people like that.
Yeah, he's very like, I don't know, it feels like he's on a theatre stage.
Yeah,
like,
it does.
Stage actor. It doesn't feel like a film actor.
Do you want to tell like how we met? Because we're both losers who talked about Transformers.
We can do. We met.
Well, I want to say no. I want to say it because I say it like really nice and wholesome, and then you make me look like an idiot. Hello and welcome back to CG Wired. I'm once again joined by my good buddy Golden Tin. How's it going, mate?
Hey, how's it going, everyone?
So last week you lied to our audience and you said that you watch films, and this week you knew from around Tuesday, Wednesday that we were going to watch Curse of the Black Pearl for this week's episode. And today's Sunday. We record on Sundays. When did you watch Curse of the Black Pearl?
Man, I watched it about 3 hours ago.
That's good.
I began watching it about 3 hours ago. It's a nearly 3 hour long film.
So you finished it, half an hour ago?
Something like that, yeah.
So they gave you a lot of time to soak it up and come up with like some interesting talking points, or are you completely different?
I want it to be fresh. And hey, excuse me, when did you watch the Minecraft movie?
Around 24 hours beforehand, and I wrote notes. Have you got notes?
24 hours? Yeah. No, I don't have notes. It's all up here.
Really? Okay. Interesting. Well, actually, before we get... So we're doing Curse of the Black Pearl this week. Sorry, I spoiled the reveal. Before we get to that, though, you very rightly pointed out that there's a big piece of news that we should discuss, which is that apparently, I don't know how confirmed it is, Michael Bay is going to direct another Transformers film. And what's our thoughts on that, Mr. Tin?
I mean, it sounds a little bit desperate, don't you think? Like, why are they bringing back Michael Bay?
Okay, interesting. I thought you'd say something else because a core part of our origin story as buddies is that we both like Transformers. Am I allowed to expose this?
Go for it. I'm a big TF head.
Yeah.
Yeah, I've seen... Well, not as big as I used to be. I used to be a real sweaty nerd when it came to Transformers. I've seen a lot of the shows or the cartoons. When it comes to the movies, I'm not the biggest fan of the Bayverse.
Interesting. And I mean, I'm kind of in the same boat. I think they're like artistically 10 out of 10, but like in terms of like a Transformers movie, they're pretty terrible outside of like nuggets of good bits, like when the Autobots look inside Sam's house. That's like a bit of proper Transformers. But otherwise, it's just like Michael Bay makes his toys... Sorry, I hit my microphone. Otherwise, it's just like Michael Bay making his toys smash together and making them really cool, but it's not really like the Transformers we grew up watching.
No, it's very inauthentic to like original Transformers. But the thing is, Transformers has had so many different continuities over time. Like, at the time, I didn't like it. I didn't like the films because they weren't true to the original. But now it's like I kind of appreciate it as its own, it's its own thing. Like
what, the movies?
Different kind of Optimus. Yeah, like it's just another continuity. Like the Armada trilogy, like RID, like
yeah.
There's so many different Transformers continuities. I just take it as its own. And also the first film, 2007, is like kind of a time capsule, as well as the first couple films of that era. And a lot of like the toys were kind of weird. Obviously a lot of effort went into CGI then, and just I can appreciate the films as much as I don't like them. I can appreciate them.
When was the last time you watched one? Maybe you told me you watched them all at once and then never again.
I've seen all of them in the cinema. I've seen a couple outside of it, but for the most part, I've seen them all one time, and that was that.
Okay. Do you want to tell like how we met? Because we're both losers who talked about Transformers. Should we talk about that?
We met. We can do.
I want to say it because I say it like really nice and wholesome, and then you make me look like an idiot when you tell this story. Like,
well, okay.
I think my take is quite sweet, which was like we went to university, which wasn't very good, and we were staying in student halls that also wasn't very good, and it was just full of like absolute nutters. Like, didn't someone get robbed in the first week or something like that? And
probably
they would just play music like until 5 a.m, like, and do drugs and things. It was a really strange place, but we were very lucky in that the small part of the student halls we lived in was quite nice. So we met at university at the student halls, and it was full of very nice people, but they're all like, what's the nice way of saying it? Like normal people who are just like into normal people things, you know, like. And,
they definitely left Transformers and that kind of thing behind when you're supposed to.
And so I was there like a day early, and like everyone else there was just like normal people, and I thought like I can get along with these people, but like I don't feel connected to them. And then a little golden tin walked in, and within 5 minutes we were talking about Transformers, and I think that's quite a sweet little story. We've been buddies ever since. Now you tell your version of it.
Well, that's just not true.
What?
He's telling you a lie. We were at pre's, you know, ready to go out on the town,
Pre-drink.
as you do at university at that age. And this guy, CGY, starts, for no reason, goes up to one of the normal people, I suppose, and just says, "Have you seen Transformers Prime?" Out of nowhere. Maybe it was alcohol and fueled confidence or something, but I don't know why. What drove you to say that? But I was sitting, you know, a little bit of ways, but my ears perked up. I was like, "Wait, hang on, Transformers Prime." That guy just said Transformers Prime, because I don't know how much we'd talked beforehand, but I think we kind of immediately went up to you, or it was when we were walking there or something. I don't know, but we started talking about it, and it was. Oh, we've been best friends ever since.
Wasn't there something where we were walking with like all these? We
were walking, nice, talking.
Like, go on, you say it. Make me look.
We
stupid.
were walking, and the people, like the just the regular folk, were trying to walk with us and join in our conversation, but we were talking about Transformers Prime, so we're basically saying, "Can you just go away?" Or it's for your own good. Like, don't join in. We're trying to talk about it's for your own good.
Like two
you don't want to walk with us.
Talk about a show for children on like night 2 of university.
We were freaking out over. We were freaking out over Transformers, basically, as you do.
Up until that point, had you exposed your crippling Transformers fandom to anyone? Because this is before fandoms were cool. I feel like nowadays it's cool to be into like comics and stuff like that. It's just like a thing. But like, I feel like when we went to university, it was not cool. We had to like keep it. We were trying to keep it quiet.
No, it wasn't cool. And Transformers, I would say, still isn't cool. Like people would be like, "Yeah, you know, Spider-Man, that's cool. Oh, great, Captain America." Not Transformers. That's not cool. And I remember at school hiding, like appearing offline, so people didn't see that I was playing Transformers War for Cybertron.
Yeah, I got picked on at school for playing Transformers. I had to like, no guys, it's cool. It's really cool. It's like Call of Duty with Transformers, and no one cared. No one listened.
I used to say it's like Gears of War. You'd have to like justify why you were playing a game on your own console.
Yeah. I don't think on PS3 you could appear online and play online, could you? I think you had to be like public, so I was like just blocked people from my school in the end.
No, that was it. Yeah. That's what I did.
It's just pathetic, honestly. Yeah. Well, okay. So, in regards to the new Bayformers, Michael Bay Transformers movie, I genuinely think the first. Sorry, go on.
Well, I'll just say like it's weird because I think Bumblebee was really good and probably the best live action Transformers film.
Mm-hmm.
And they did that, and I don't know if that didn't do well or something because they just kind of abandoned that.
Yeah, I actually don't know like the lore behind that. Actually, that's a really good point. I legitimately don't know. I assume it just didn't make the money that the last ones did. I think what happened is Age of Extinction, which is the fourth one, somehow made like $1 billion. I think it was because the third one made a lot of money and the second one made a lot of money and the first one made a lot of money, right? And then the fifth one didn't make as much money because the fourth one was so bad, and there was like a downward trend from there with each one making less and less money to the point that it just stopped recently. Until now they're going back to Michael Bay. I don't really know why. I assume because at least he was making them some money. Maybe it's not enough, but it was some, you know. But yeah, my thoughts regarding Michael Bay is that I do genuinely think the first 3 Transformers films are like pure art, which I don't know if that's stupid to say or not, but they're just so good. No, you take out the Transformers aspect. They're really well-crafted action movies that look fantastic and feel good and are great to watch and have a great sense of flow to them. Terrible plot, fair enough, you know. And the second 2, like the last 2 are just terrible. Like they've somehow, Michael Bay lost whatever his magic was in those last 2 movies and they just fell apart. And so if Michael Bay makes another Transformers film that's like the first 3, where he actually cares and it's really good and it looks good and feels good, then I don't really care. Like, if you know what I mean? Like, if they're going to make a cool movie using the Transformers IP, fine.
It's not going to be the same. He's not good. These films, his new film or whatever, first of all, it's not going to, I doubt it's going to make $1 billion.
No, maybe.
It's like a different era now. I don't know.
I think people are pining for that, right? Like, everything's nostalgia bait now. What if he gets Shia LaBeouf back Is he in prison?
No, I don't think so, but that'd be cool.
What? I don't really follow Shia LaBeouf. I swear he went to prison for a while, and I swear Megan Fox now drinks blood or something.
I think that was a film.
No. But that's in some interview where she's with her boyfriend. She's like, "Yeah, we drink blood," and this was a big joke. Yeah, she drinks blood or something. I don't know. But
she won't be in it. Like there's no way she's going to agree to go back. But Shia LaBeouf, maybe. I don't really know what his law either. I don't know what happened.
What if they give her like not $1 billion, but like a lot of money? Because like nostalgia is in, right? Like Tom Cruise is 60, he's still making movies. Tom Cruise was the biggest movie star in the world in 2000s, and he's the biggest movie star in the world now, just because of nostalgia.
That's depressing. It's because there's no new movie stars coming up. None. It's all the same ones from.
Let's get him in.
He's not new.
That's true. Who's a new movie star? Yeah, I guess so. Well, at least Tom Cruise is still going for it then.
Oh, good old Tom.
Speaking
Tom
of
Cruise in the new
Tom
film.
Cruise in I mean, they got Mark Wahlberg, right? Like, how far is it to get Tom Cruise in? You know what? I think Tom Cruise would make a sick Transformers movie. Here's what I'd want from Michael Bay, I guess. If Michael Bay could either restart the franchise or somehow keep it going, but do so in a way where it's more lore accurate. So you get all the cool Transformers action with actually a bit of old school Transformers in there. You know, like they look the old way and they act the old way, and there's a bit more character because CGI is easier to do now than it used to be. That would be a top Transformers movie with Michael Bay over the top of it. I don't think we will get that. We'll get robots smashing into each other, but that's my dream.
We'll get ugly robots that look nothing like how they should, smashing into each other. But people we almost
got there with Bumblebee, didn't we? There's like that opening 5 minutes of Bumblebee that are just like absolute top Transformers, even though it's just actually nostalgia. All it is right. It's just like, oh look, it's the Transformers we all know and love shooting each other, but it's still just fantastic because we've been starved of it.
Well, it's like they just look like how they should look. Like if you were trying to be authentic, I wouldn't even call that nostalgia. It's just like faithfully adapting.
Could you make an argument that there's so many interpretations of them at this point, like you say Armada, ROD, blah, 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 that you're allowed to massively deviate because there's been so many versions of Optimus, so many versions of Megatron. Of course, the originals are the most set in stone and well-known ones, but they've changed those designs so many times now. So it's like, can we be mad at Bay for changing it?
Maybe at the time, because people... They wanted to see Transformers. They wanted to see the cartoon that they'd grown up with on the big screen, and then they just looked nothing like it. But in retrospect, it's probably fine.
Okay, I mean, okay. I know, I completely agree with that. I think we shouldn't linger on Transformers for too long now. Cause
no, this is the curse. Is this Transformers or Curse of the Black Pearl?
No, this is Curse of the Black Pearl. Okay, right. So speaking of nostalgia bait, do you think they'll make another Pirates of the Caribbean anytime soon?
Do you know when the last one came out? It's probably longer ago than I would guess.
We were in university because I remember someone came up to me and said it has the greatest end credit scene of all time. Have you seen it?
No.
Can I spoil
I've only seen the first 3. I've never seen the there's 5, right? I've never saw the last 2.
The 4th one is like okay, but it's not. I wouldn't recommend watching it again. And the 5th one is actually a genuinely very, very bad film. Like Jack Sparrow's just like drunk the whole movie. But you know how he's drunk the whole movie in this one? He's really cool. He's just drunk the whole movie and he's just a loser. Like it's a really strange.
Wow, really?
Yeah, he gives away his compass. He fails at everything. He stumbles through the movie, and it's just like some loser. I don't know why they did it. He's just a loser.
Is there not one that he's not in, or have I made that up? Or maybe that's going to be the future. I don't know.
I think he's because of all the controversy. He may or may not be out. I actually don't know. So I think they may or may not make one with him, or at least not with him as a star. But no, he was in that one. But he is a side character because he's not really Jack Sparrow. He's just some guy. He's just some drunk idiot that comes on their adventure. But the ending is like they tease that Davy Jones is going to come back. For some reason. It just sort of ends, and someone told me like that's the greatest end credit scene ever. You just see like Davy Jones tentacles. The end.
That was 2017. So
right, yeah, okay, yeah. So
I don't think he's coming back.
But in terms of Curse of the Black Pearl, did you like it?
I really liked it.
Actually. Hey, we've got a positive.
This is not my first time watching this film, but it's
right.
Been a while since I last saw it. And yeah, it was really good. And it's weird that you say they made him like an idiot, because he's really cool in this film.
Okay. This is a question I was going to ask you actually. Particularly, is interesting seeing as you haven't watched the second two in a while, right?
No, I haven't.
I find it. I only ever saw Pirates of the Caribbean as a trilogy. I watched them like over the course of 1 week or something like that when I was younger. And so to me, Captain Jack Sparrow is the character that he is throughout that whole trilogy. And when I watched the first one again recently, I thought, like, is he a really weird character in this? Is he just some odd pirate guy, or is he quite cool? Like, in isolation of just this first movie, because I can't disconnect the two. So I'm asking you if you're able to do that and what you think about that.
Both. He's both odd and really cool. He's
right. Yeah. Okay, what's odd about him then?
Well, it's not odd. What do you mean by odd? Like, yeah, he's a bit eccentric and a bit.
It's just if I was to make a movie. If I was to make a movie, I don't think I'd ever come up with a character like Jack Sparrow, who's just like this drunken guy who stumbles through the whole movie, just like doing weird stuff, but it all works out. Like, how do they come up with a character like that and make him cool and make him interesting? Like, how have they layered all that in to this one movie when there's so much else going on as well? Like, I genuinely don't get it.
Well, it's just, I mean, that's just good writing, I guess. You've got Will Turner. He's kind of the normal guy. So you've got to offset him with
oh yeah,
the weirdo, you know, like that's how it works. I think those two balance each other out quite nicely.
So it's like the straight man and the comedian almost is what you've got.
Yeah,
right.
But they're both cool.
Okay. Well, okay, yeah. I watching this film, I didn't think Jack Sparrow was the cool character. I didn't think Will was the cool character. I genuinely thought Captain Chad Norrington was the best character. What's your thoughts on that?
Yeah.
Just because... sorry, go on.
Go on. No, you go.
Well, just because, like... I don't know, maybe because I'm older now. When you're young, obviously Jack Sparrow's cool, right? And he still is cool. He's a great character. But I feel like Captain Norrington manages to become very interesting and cool whilst being the rule follower. Like, because technically Jack Sparrow's the bad guy, right? He's literally a criminal. And yeah, he does morally good things or morally great things, fair enough. But he also does bad things. And yet... the film never makes Norrington, who is the bad guy, or an antagonist to him, look like the bad guy. He's just like doing his job well, doing his job effectively, upholding the law. And I think it's quite good because otherwise the film doesn't really have a moral compass. You know what I mean? Like somehow the bad guy of the film or the antagonist of the film ends up being the moral compass. Like if you were to live in real life, you'd probably want to be Norrington, even though the film pitches Jack Sparrow as this cool, interesting guy. You don't actually want to be him.
Yeah, true. I mean, I didn't think that much about Norrington throughout it. He was cool.
Yeah.
And I appreciate it didn't make like him a complete fool or anything. I feel like if this film came out now, they would just, oh my days.
He'd just be some bumbling,
complete
Jack Sparrow
idiot
in the new one, right? Like just bumbling fool, buffoon from step to step.
But don't they do that to him eventually? He turned, like, I remember him just like, he sleeps in the street or something by the end of the franchise.
It's actually quite good. Like in the next one, I've been watching them through it and I haven't finished the third one, so I don't remember how the third one ends. But in the next one, his like career is ruined because of the ending of this film, which we'll talk about. And so he's like a hobo, but he then becomes immoral in the next one before getting conscious again in the one after that. So he then like follows Jack Sparrow to get his own life back. Kind of thing. It's really good. He has probably one of the best arcs as like a side character. It's a really good arc. But yeah, what did you think about the morality of the film? Like, what is it pitching? Is it pitching we should all be pirates? I know it's like a film for children, but it's also quite deep. And I was wondering about that, like.
Wow, I mean, I didn't think about that whilst watching. The morality.
You only watched it 40 minutes ago. You've had no time to absorb the themes.
This is a film based off of a theme park ride.
That is true. That is very true.
For children. No, it's...
yeah.
Well, it's just like different levels of evil, I guess. You've got Barbosa's and his crew. True. Very evil.
Do you think they're evil?
They are evil.
No, I think they're also.
They just go around killing people.
Yeah, they do a bit of murdering, but like, I don't know if I describe them as evil because they are just trying to free themselves, right? Like, you don't necessarily know if they'd go back to pirating once they'd free themselves. They're just prisoners of a curse, and they're trying to get the coins back to not be cursed, right? So, are they evil?
They would 100% return to being evil and just being pirates.
I guess they do that in the next movie. You don't, within the context of this movie, you don't have that, right? As like obvious.
They're terrorizing towns and stuff like that. They don't need to do that.
Yeah, but they're doing it to get the coin, right? That's why they're terrorizing the towns. They're not terrorizing the town because they're bad. They're trying to lift the curse.
Well, at the end of the film, Jack says, "Hey, the army, the navy's outside. You should go kill them while you're immortal." Basically, is what he says.
True.
And they go and do that. They don't need to do that. They're right there and then. They could break the curse because they've got will. They've got the coin.
True.
They could
Fair
just
enough.
hold up their hand and say, "Hey, we're actually really good people. Let's break the curse now and leave the navy alone." No, they decide to go out, walk underwater, sneak up on them, and just murder them.
Okay, that's a very fair point that I hadn't considered. Fair enough. Well, then,
These are
just
not
because
good people.
I've been writing a video on Curse of the Black Pearl for my YouTube channel, and one thing I really liked in the behind the scenes is that the actor for Barbossa, I don't think he thought he was particularly evil, the bad guy, or not completely evil, and he described his motivation for his character as just wanting to eat his apple. That's all he wanted. I thought that's a really sick motivation for a character. It's all he wants to do is eat an apple.
Yeah, because he can't enjoy anything anymore.
Yeah, exactly. And I think the apple is such a nice metaphor for everything, because it's like juicy and fruity, and it's kind of, what I'm saying is, if it was any other fruit like a banana, I don't think it would work as the metaphor for life. You know what I mean?
No, yeah, the apple works.
I guess it's like Adam and Eve. Yeah, exactly.
Ooh.
Yeah.
But,
Okay, my next question. Oh, sorry, go on.
Just staying on that, it's possible the curse made them all turn more evil because they were going insane. Because I can't really see Jack hanging out with these people.
True.
These people
Unless
are all
Barbossa twisted them.
Awful.
But yeah, okay. I don't know. You've you kind of put a dent in the film for me there when you say that they're just happy to go murder people like that. Because I totally always saw Barbossa and the crew as grey, but they're not.
But I can believe that the curse maybe made them go more insane. And maybe had we seen them back in the day, I mean, they did mutiny, but maybe they were slightly
Jack
nicer people,
on the island,
like Gibbs and his crew.
Yeah. Leaving Jack on the island isn't a complete act of evil. You know what I mean? Or is it?
Yeah, they could just murder
pistol?
them. They just left them with a pistol. They've got a code.
They do have a code. Okay, well, my next question is, can Orlando Bloom act well?
Oh, I thought about this during the film.
Yeah? That's not good enough.
Yeah, he's not a great actor, bless him.
He's not, is he?
No.
I only realised it watching this recently. He just talks deep from in the throat, down here, and all uppity. But he can't actually act that well.
No, he's good as an action star. He's doing all these flips and whatever. He looks the part. And he's not awful. I wasn't thinking every time he spoke taking me out. But yeah, he's very I don't know, it feels like he's on a theatre stage.
Yeah, it does.
A stage actor. Yeah. It doesn't feel like a film actor.
It feels like pantomime. He's just really expressive and vocal and loud, but there's not much else there. Which I don't know. I feel like is that because Will is actually kind of I don't know if he's one dimensional, but his dimension is basically be good within the limits of goodness. That's not a great sentence, but you know what I mean.
What a quote! Let's write that down.
He's morally centered, and the only development he does is to get a bit less morally centered while still being morally centered. You know what I mean? And is there much you can do with that as a character, or is it kind of limiting, and therefore how much can he act it?
I guess he does have a bit of an arc, because it goes from trying to kill Jack to then saving his life by the end of the film. So he kind of embraces his pirate side quite easily, I would say.
Oh yeah.
So there's some.
Speaking of the end of the film, sorry, I cut you off there. This is the delay. Speaking of the end of the film, I thought that was the only bit of the movie that wasn't good. I thought it's quite rushed just to have a happy ending where everyone's safe and we can maybe do another one if it goes well and no one dies. You know what I mean?
Yeah.
Captain Chad Norrington just gets cucked basically, which I don't think Captain Chad Norrington would allow. Bro is so by the book and so disciplined and so ruled that he just lets his wife get taken from him by some random dude and a pirate escape.
I guess that's him sticking to the rules, I suppose.
That's not the rules, though. Or is that going to be he's learned to break the rules?
He's learned to what?
He's learned to break the rules.
I don't know. I never really thought about that one.
Yeah, it was the only thing. It's fine because it sets up the next film. But I just thought, They've just tried to have, it's by Disney, right? They just tried to have like a happy Disney ending where everything works out fine, which is okay. But then I would have just had them get away. You know what I mean? Like I wouldn't have had them have to save Jack and all this stuff. I feel that was a bit superfluous.
I guess you just really aren't Commodore Norrington's biggest fan.
I love Commodore. He's the best character by such a long shot, by such a ridiculous margin.
He's not the best character. No way, he's not the best character.
Who's the best character then?
It's actually Jack. And I hate to say that because you know me, I'm not normally like a go with the main guy, but
you're a disgusting contrarian, is what you are.
I'm normally a contrarian, but I like Jack a lot. I also like Barbossa a lot.
Why do you like Jack
Barbados. A lot? Wait, he's like got the cool factor. He's got that cool bad boy edge to him. Like
without
Norrington's
being cringe,
stick
right?
in the mud. Without being cringe, he's not cringe.
Someone said to me the other day, and I couldn't pin it down, but they said like if someone tried to do a character like Jack Sparrow today, it would probably be perceived as cringe because people try so hard today to do something different and new. And the fact that they pulled it off back then and it's still remained timeless and it's not cringe and it's actually very cool, like this character who bumbles around and says funky stuff, it's actually really well done.
Yeah, he's like quirky in a cool way.
Like, who was the last quirky character? Like, the last quirky character I can think of is Jared Leto's Joker. Like, it doesn't work. Like, who was the last genuinely good quirky character?
Let me think. The last genuinely good quirky character.
Yeah,
You should name the episode that, by the way. The last genuinely good quirky character? Question mark.
That's not a bad one. I was going to name it Why Captain Norrington's a Chad, but I don't think I've made a reasonable enough argument for him, except he has morals.
Man, no one's clicking on Captain Norrington videos.
I don't care about views. I care about Captain Norrington, my man. It's cause, right, he's like my boy Lord Nelson, which is like where I'm from, I'm from Norfolk. I don't think Norfolk's ever done anything, it's a place in England. I don't think he's ever done anything significant in his life except give birth to Lord Admiral Nelson. So he's over every single thing you go to. It's like, oh, Nelson was here, Nelson was here, Nelson was here. And he was kind of a Captain Chad Norrington type, where like he just enforced the law to a ridiculous degree out in the Caribbean and stuff, right? Like he just followed the rules to a mental amount to the point where everyone hated him. And he's a hero of the people for doing stuff like that, for enforcing the rules. And that's what my boy Captain Chad Norrington is.
Okay, man, we get it.
Anyway, I gave you enough time to think about it. Who's a good quirky character?
This came out in 2003, something like that. I guess the Doctor from Doctor Who, another thing we were a fan of. He's a quirky character who's handled quite well up until a point.
Up until a point, yeah. Matt Smith is trying hard to be quirky. He pulls it off.
I like he's trying Matt very Smith's hard quirkiness. He pulls it off.
Yeah. I feel like quirkiness became mainstream around the time Tumblr became mainstream. Like something like quirkiness became a thing, whereas it wasn't really a thing, it was just a thing people did. And then suddenly entered conscious awareness as like, this character's quirky. And since then, it's been very hard to maintain quirkiness, I feel. Yeah,
I've kind of clocked that. You know, I'm now thinking of Marvel, because these are the only films we've ever seen.
Yeah,
there was in the original lineup of like the Avengers, there was no quirky character. If I'm being honest, there was like people made little jokes.
Who was quirky?
In the original lineup of the Avengers, there was no quirky character. Like there was like a few jokes, but there was no quirky guy.
Is Tony Stark not quirky?
He's not quirky. He makes a joke here and there. He's charismatic.
But he's definitely like a very defined performance. Like, you know what I mean? Like,
yeah, he's the closest to, but I wouldn't call him quirky. Iron Man is not quirky. In like the sense of the cringe kind of quirky that we're thinking of.
Cringe. Yeah, I guess so. I'm now trying to like run through the list of Marvel. Did Marvel ever get quirky? I feel like as it got later on, they tried to have more goofy, silly characters. Like more modern Marvel is a bit goofier and a bit more like, oh, we're crazy, you know? But serious Marvel, you're right, it wasn't quirky.
In the early days, it wasn't quirky. It was a bit quippy and a bit jokey, but there was no like quirky character.
And I wonder if that killed the quirky character because Marvel just sort of dominated the cinemas for ages, or if quirky characters were already falling off at that point, and so Marvel stopped doing them. You know what I mean? Like
the death of the quirky character.
Character. Yeah, I don't know. But again, Jared Leto is the one I come back to all the time. Like, that was an attempt.
Well, even Harley Quinn, Margot Robbie, she's quirky.
Yeah, but she's actually not terrible, is she? Like, she's fine. Like, compared to the Joker, who's try maxing to be something unique and different and just not making it. Harley Quinn is fine by comparison.
Sure.
Yeah, well, anyway. What's up?
I don't know, it's just, I think every time there's a quirky character, people just rag on it these days. But
Yeah,
Jack
that was
Sparrow,
my point, yeah.
super popular. Do you know have you seen how many people have tried to cosplay him? Like, everyone,
Every
loads of people dress up
Halloween.
as him. I think there's a, like, convention or something where everyone dresses up as Jack Sparrow.
What, in this country? In England?
Yeah, I think so, yeah.
That's crazy. What do you think of his English accent?
It's a little all over the place. I was trying to figure out where his accent's, where it's actually meant to be from. Like, but
Yeah. All my
At
life I
certain
thought Johnny
points.
Depp was British until I listened to this like recently and I was like, oh, this is not British at all. This is like something vague.
it's okay.
I don't know.
It's vague, okay accent. But you know, he's world traveler. Who knows? Maybe his accent's gone all funny.
I guess so. Or it's the
That's
drinking
my
or something.
headcanon. Quirky character, Deadpool. There we go. That's another one I just
Fair
remembered.
enough. Yeah.
Another one everyone
fair
loves
enough.
to cosplay and done quite well.
But he's not doing all the body movements though. Like, even Matt Smith is going
Yes,
crazy.
he is.
Well,
He's
Deadpool's
like
doing body
dances in
movements.
every movie. He's dancing all the time.
I guess so, yeah. But he's not like, he's still, when he's like doing stuff, he's just a normal human. Whereas the Doctor or Jack Sparrow is always in like theatre mode and presenting mode and like doing stuff, you know, like, whereas Deadpool is like a normal guy until he's doing the silly shit. Like, he can almost flip between the two.
Okay, there's levels to the quirkiness. Okay, you don't
fair enough.
just because you're not dancing and prancing around doesn't mean you're not quirky.
That's what needs to happen in Pirates of the Caribbean 6. Jack Sparrow needs to start dancing.
Yeah,
That's what these films needed.
like
Right, now,
you
speaking
know,
of- Sorry, go on.
like Johnny Depp, the Mad Hatter.
I have seen that. He's played loads of weird characters, to be fair.
Yeah, and he dances in that, I think. And yeah,
Oh, yeah. Is it bad? In my
it's a
memory?
really ugly CGI dance he does.
I did watch that movie recently, but it's just forgettable. Like, to be honest, like, it's a very funky, weird movie that's just gone in one side and out the other, you know?
Yeah, when people talk about like good Disney live action films, they say that one. They say that's a good one.
Does live action films include all the Marvel stuff? Or is it like non-Marvel?
No, like the remakes, the Disney remakes.
Does that count as like a Disney remake? It's kind of like a
Yes,
completely different story of Alice in Wonderland. Right? Does Alice in Wonderland end with a big war?
No, I guess not. I've never seen it. Is it like a sequel to the animated film? It's like, oh, Alice has grown up. She's gone back to
Remember-
Wonderland.
I have
think
seen
something
it,
like that.
the original. I can't remember how it ends because it creeped me out too much as a kid. And I haven't had like the nerve to go back and watch it because it was really creepy and weird. But
The
this
cartoon?
one ends with the Disney cartoon.
The Disney cartoon. I watched that so many times. I love that film.
How does it end then, bruv?
Yeah, it ends with her. She's in court,
What?
about to get her head cut off, and she like runs away, and the Queen and
Right.
all her guards. It's really psychedelic. It's like blah, 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 blah. It's all over the place. They're all chasing her, saying "off with the head, off with the head," and she wakes up because it's all a dream apparently. But
Oh, that's rubbish. Okay, the ending of the original with Jack Sparrow dancing might actually be better then. Because like, All a Dream is such a lame ending.
well, it's not. It's not clear if it was all a dream or what, because I know there's a sequel book at least. So I don't know how the
That's
book ends. To be
cheating
honest
though.
with you.
That is cheating if the original book ends with "It's all a dream" and then the sequel book is like, was it all a dream or not? That's kind of like cheating, isn't it? Like, that's cheating your original ending to try and get away from "It was all a dream." Like, either have it end properly or don't like change it. You know what I mean?
Oh, so you hate Inception?
I hate Inception because I think I could make a better film. That's it. That's not what I meant by that. I wanted to say I hate Alice in Wonderland because I think I could make a better film. But that's also not true. I was just trying to be an asshole. All right, my next question regarding character, because we've done Captain Chad Norrington, who's my favourite character, is, when compared to Captain Chad Norrington and Jack Sparrow and Will, is Elizabeth technically the worst character in the film? She doesn't actually do much. I feel bad to say it.
Well, she's pivotal. She's very important.
Mm.
And she's not bad. I didn't dislike her at all in this, but I guess she is, by comparison, the least interesting.
because she doesn't really do much, right? Like she sort of just, it's almost like a plot device that moves people around to different places. And she has a character, and they've tried to give her a character arc and a personality and all these different layers. But I feel like she's just a MacGuffin almost.
Well, she moves the plot along. She gets people going from point A to point B. She holds her own in front of the pirates. Shows that she's quite smart.
Yeah. Do you think her and Will actually work together? Because, I mean, this is more bleeding into the next few movies, but like, she kind of progressively becomes more of a pirate, right? Like she starts off as moral, but wanting to be free from like her father and society and stuff, and progressively gets more and more bad, doing worse and worse choices for herself, more and more selfish choices. Whereas Will kind of just sticks to his morals the whole time, but they're meant to be like destined and love each other and be perfect for each other. But I feel like she isn't who she is at the start, and she does not much to redeem herself. I haven't finished the third movie, so maybe I'm wrong, but like from what I remember, she actually just continues down the path of getting progressively worse. But because they're kind of, it's the will they, won't they narrative, they just get together in the end.
Well, talking only from this film,
yes,
because I don't remember the others, I did think they could have maybe done with another scene together. I mean, they have one scene, not counting the flashback, of them interacting, and then she gets kidnapped, and then he goes after her. Yeah,
that's a good point, actually. I think it's just because like everyone in this looks so good, and the whole thing looks so good. It's so romantic, and like, as in like from the production, like the beautiful blue seas and stuff.
This film looks really good.
Yeah. It makes me. I've never been there. Does it look that good in real life? Like, I just can't believe it looks that real. They must have like doctored the footage somehow to make it look that blue and that lovely and that nice. You know,
it probably does look really good. Let's be honest, it's the Caribbean, but there's also no doubt some color grading and whatever. But it's kind of like the Michael Bay films. Like the colors are kind of bright. Everyone's tan.
Yeah. Yeah. So I wonder. I think that's like half of why you just sort of buy into the love story, because the whole thing is so wonderful. You know what I mean? Like it is this beautiful fairy tale magical world basically they've made.
It'd be nice to see this film and then watch the 2017 one and see if it looks flat and grey and ugly.
Wow, yeah. The problem is I just literally don't want to watch that film again. Like we're rewatching the trilogy now, and we sort of said to each other, me and my girlfriend, we're like, there's no way we're going to watch the fourth one because it kind of ruins the taste in your mouth of the third one, and then the fifth one just demolishes that taste in your mouth. Like it's just utterly grim. But I mean, if we want to do a poddy on it, and if the two people who listen to this podcast want us to do it, then we can, I guess.
Guys, let us know down below if you want us to watch every single Pirates movie and review.
You are such a good YouTuber, mate. You're on the ball with this. Yeah, what else have I got on my little list of notes here?
Well, let's talk more about the look. I want to talk more about the look.
Okay, go on.
There's obviously green screen in this film at points, but it's nowhere near as like obvious as it is these days. There's sets built, which I feel like doesn't happen anymore. Like big sets.
Yeah.
The CGI doesn't. I mean, it's not aged very well, but I remember at the time thinking it was really good. Yeah, and I think CG will age worse from now into the future than then to now.
Yeah,
that makes sense.
I completely agree. What I found quite impressive was how they managed to get so much CGI on the cursed crew. Like it was really clever how they did the idea that they have to go into the sunlight or the nightlight, should I say, to turn into the CGI, and that meant they could have like a cursed crew at the same time as having a normal crew for like half the budget. You know what I mean? Where with Davy Jones, you have to have the cursed crew the whole movie. Every time you show them, it probably costs millions of dollars. Here, they could just use the actors and just switch the CGI when they wanted, which allowed for like a tremendous amount of screen time for the crew.
Yeah, that's clever, and I like that.
And I feel like either a modern movie would probably try and have a fully CGI crew, but then they wouldn't be in it enough because it costs so much money to have them. You know what I mean? And so like, it plays really well and it's really fun. And I also like how it's slowly revealed across the course of the movie, like what is going on here. You know what I mean? It's a really nice way to use CGI to tell your story in like this romantic, nice narrative that crafts itself. Like, I can't think of many other films that use CGI in a narrative sense. Nowadays, they just want you to see it. You know what I mean? Like, look at this CGI we spent all this money on. Look at this explosion. Look at this character. Here it's like, we're going to take our time and reveal it bit by bit until the ending actually has a tremendous amount for a 2003 movie.
Yeah, but I think around this time you start to have like more more CG like armies and films
Yeah.
and stuff like that. And CGI was up around this time.
What's also nice is that when you said armies, actually, it made me think of Star Wars, where they have these massive armies colliding, right? But they're usually, well, again, it looks really good. They're usually almost like a copy and pasted army of just like clones or droids or like Gungans. That sort of just do like set routines, don't they? Like the droids just walk forward and shoot, or the clones just walk forward and shoot. Whereas here, it's like really impressive. Like they have skeleton men fighting real human actors and all these different looking skeletons as well. It's not just a clone army, a massive clone army. They've used the CGI spectacle really well and really intentionally and really interestingly. Like every single pirate you sort of saw in the background throughout the movie, like the guy with the beard on fire, even he was a skeleton pirate. Like it was tremendous.
Yeah, there's only like one part. It's when she's trying to escape or whatever, and she sees them all as skeletons. That's like the only time I feel like there's all of them on screen, because the fight at the end, they hide them a lot, and there's a lot of, you only really ever see one or two on screen at the same time, and they play around. So. They're very smart with their filming.
And you're right. When you see more of them, they look a bit worse. I feel like when you see just one or two, it's really exceptional. But when there's all of them, it felt a bit like an advert you see on the telly when you were a kid. Like you'd be watching SpongeBob, and some weird advert with skeletons would come on. It would look like this film, in my memory at least. Do you know what I mean?
Like TV advert CGI, yeah.
Yeah, like it just looks kind of, that bit's aged quite badly. But the fight at the end between like Jack and Barbossa, or the British Navy and the pirates, looked pretty good, all things considered.
Yeah, that's that scene where she's running away or whatever in the ship. That's the worst they look, I think, in the whole film. When they're like underwater, they look really good, and their arms and stuff. In the fight in the cave, they look good because it's all in darkness as well, as that does help.
Yeah,
you know, I know the last film, the villain, he's got this effect. I don't know if you know this, where he looks like he's underwater, but he's like on land. Like his hair's swishing around, and his face.
That's quite good. I remember that now. Do you know, that film, I don't want to keep going on about it because we try to talk about things we like, but that film tries to explain the way that Jack Sparrow gets the name Jack Sparrow. Do you know this?
Oh, no.
And like, I think it's because he sits up in like the crow's nest of the ship, like the thing at the top of the ship. And that guy's got like a Spanish accent who just keeps going like, oh, the sparrow, he's the sparrow. And it's like,
that actor's a good one.
He's good. He's really good.
He's really good.
But like, I didn't need an origin story for Jack Sparrow's name. I'm sorry. Like, I got on with my life without that.
Yeah, he has a tattoo in this film of like a sparrow.
And that's actually way better as well. That's like way more interesting. You know what I mean? Like, is it because he escaped from jail? You know what I mean? Like, you know what I mean? Like, it's way more intriguing than having some underwater dead guy say the sparrow like 15 times.
Yeah. I mean, I've not seen that film. We'll see if I see it.
We'll see what the comments say.
We'll see what the comments say. See what the folks at home have to say.
Yeah, I mean, and regarding the CGI, like I said, I've been writing a video on it, so I'm like quite up to date on it. They actually like got like real restoration boats so like not the original boat from the time, but like modern day recreations of their boat that were perfect, and then sailed them like all the way from like museums all over the world, like into the Caribbean through like storms and everything, just to film on like lore accurate boats, I suppose. And the other half of the boats were also like little models, little miniature models that they blew to bits and stuff. Like there was levels of effort to this, and then there's the sets, like you say, and the real locations which they had to then like dress to look like old timey locations, and all the makeup they put on the people to make them look old. Like the levels of effort they put into this is just ridiculous. It's really, really good, and it pays off, right? Like you watch it and you just are immediately immersed.
Yeah, it all looks really great. Miniatures, dead art, which is such a shame because there's a lot of value to those actually. Yeah, Independence Day that's miniatures, stuff like that. I know I know really? King Kong used miniatures. Yeah. Oh wow. Okay. Right. Yeah, it's a real. You're right. It's a dead art, and I don't think anyone uses that anymore. CGI does look tremendous these days. Like it does look really good, but there's something with a miniature that just grounds everything into it, doesn't it? Like you have a little bit of slice of reality inside of your fake world. Like a lot of the Lord of the Rings, when there's like the Balrog and stuff, he's inside like a massive miniature set. And I feel like nowadays they'd put the CGI Balrog inside of a CGI set, and then you just have like CGI on top of CGI. But there, because you have this real set around him with this CGI inside of it, it just works so fantastically. Yeah, it's practical. Practical stuff
Yeah.
is always will look better than CGI.
I would say 95% of the time it will help. I think I've said this in my videos, like, I feel like it also limits the film. Like, if you have a practical thing, CGI is infinite, right? It's just infinite. You can do what you want.
Okay.
And that's almost bad if you can do what you want. And that's sort of what went wrong with like early 2000s films like the prequels, right? Like George Lucas didn't want any real clone troopers, for example. They're all CGI. And so it all looks a bit funky. And he went too far. I think he went too far. I think they still look good, but he definitely went too far. But if you have a real practical thing, suddenly you're just limited to reality. You're really limited to how lights work, how cameras work, how whatever you can do in reality is holding you back on your infinite CGI. And I think that's very crucial to making it look good, you know? And that's what they did here.
I've never once seen a practical effect where I thought that would look better as CGI. I wish they would change that.
Ooh.
But I would say
old Star Wars has some dodgy stuff in it. Like, they replaced Yoda.
Technology
in the
didn't
Phantom
exist
Menace.
then.
What's up? No. They replaced Yoda in the Phantom Menace. I know you haven't really seen Star Wars, so it's like the first prequel. They have a puppet Yoda who just looks shit, and they replaced him with CGI in like one of the Blu-ray releases, and it's an improvement, unironically. But I know your point. I'm picking like a tiny example.
Yeah,
Like, oh man,
you're a CG defender.
What is it you always call me? A fencer? You have some thing, or you're just playing devil's advocate or something.
Devil's advocate. You love to do that.
Yeah.
The best is when it's practical with a little seasoning of CGI on top. That's I think
good.
when things.
And that is the lost art. That is just gone now, isn't it? Like it is just a bit of a mess now.
Yeah, like I would say 90% practical, 10% CG. So that's the sweet spot. Now it's all CG, but just sound like boomers now. No, this is your career.
True. Well, yeah, true. Okay, right. How much about the ride do you know? Because I actually learned all about the ride when I was writing this video, and I didn't realize just how many little references there were to the ride in the film.
Well, I've only been on the ride about 30 times when I was little.
Really?
I loved that ride. It was my favourite when I used to go with family to... Yeah, I've been to Disneyland Paris like 3 times. Twice with family, one with friends.
It's in Paris. I thought it was in Florida. Or
there's one in each. There's one in each Disneyland.
Oh, so you've done the ride?
I've done the one in Florida as well, I think.
That's mad. I did not know that. Okay, so did you spot references?
Well, I've not been on the ride for like 10 years, but...
You're being hyperbolic.
It does feel a bit like that. It's funny. I loved that ride when I was little.
That's really nice.
I went on it loads. And then like years later, when I went with my mates... I was like, guys, we have to go on this ride. It's so crazy. And it wasn't crazy. It was a slow boat. And I remember this big drop, but the drop is literally like a step.
Down. Okay, I wondered, because you said at the start of this, you were like, oh, it's based on a kid's ride. And I was like, is it for children? Because it looks kind of creepy, but I guess it's like literally just...
It was scary, but I found it scary, but I liked it scary. Do you know what I mean? Like morbidly curious about how scary it is. I think it's... I remember that you sail through like a town or like a few buildings that are getting ransacked. That's like that happens in the movie. That's the only real thing I remember. There's also skeleton pirates as well.
Yeah. Okay, because I feel like now being like, oh, well, I know about the ride from researching it's lame in comparison to having actually gone on the ride, right? I thought the ride was just in America. So I thought like, oh, not many people in Britain have been on this ride, right? Like, I mean, you might be the first person I've ever met who said they've been on the ride.
Well, that's an honour.
It's an honour. Well,
tell me about it, because I don't really remember too much about the actual ride itself, so let me know.
Well, the thing I guess I found, the most poetic is like, apparently what was revolutionary about the ride, I guess the original one in America, was that the use of animatronics on a ride was a really special new thing. So like this sort of narrative ride with scary monsters and stuff was a very novel idea at Disneyland. Is that the case?
Yeah, I think there was definitely a point where animatronics on rides became huge, and like every ride had them.
Okay, I think this was the one that like set it then. Like this came out, was a big deal, and then everything was then based off of this one, if that makes sense. And I just think it's quite nice that almost like it seemed to do that back then with animatronics around the time CGI was doing it in the present day, right? Like CGI has only been a thing since like the late 90s in movies, really. I know there's earlier examples, but like, And so it's only like 10 years later they start having this whole skeleton army. I feel there's a nice, I don't know, symmetry or poetry there of like, this film helped push forward a CGI crew or a CGI cast, and that ride did something similar in the animatronic world. Am I reaching, or is that, do I make a point there?
In the animatronic world and the CGI world can.
Yeah, I just think it's quite nice. They both tried to do something, right? Like they both did something different.
Back when innovation was a thing.
Exactly. Yeah, that's another thing. Apparently on the ride there's like skeletons who are drinking and all the liquid is coming out of their ribs. Right, and they do that in this movie as well, right? They have Barbossa drink and all the liquid flows out of his...
Yeah,
right?
yeah, I do remember that, yeah.
I think that was actually a really impressive bit of CGI as well, apparently, for the time, because all those liquid simulations, they weren't really a thing yet, you know what I mean? Like, when they blow up the boats in this movie, it's all a little practical model, because I think water simulations weren't good enough. And so to do, like a simulation where water passes through bones, like the thinness of bones and how you have to get your water to hit it, and then like go around it, is all stuff that doesn't just happen, right? Someone has to sit down and program all of that. So for just a simple shot and a reference to a ride, I thought that was also a really nice little callback, because you didn't have to do that stuff.
They didn't have to do that. I think I remember you saying that like water or liquid is like the hardest CGI thing to do, or maybe
it's just annoying. No, fur, I mean, all this stuff puts massive strain on the computer. I never really did fur too much, but water is just yeah, it's just grim, because like, if you want to have accurate water, you have to have loads and loads of points, so they can all hit into each other. It's like pixels on the telly, actually. Like, when you have a 4K telly, there's more pixels, so it looks better, right? There's more places for detail to manifest. It's the same with water, right? Like, you have these points that hit each other in the simulation, and when they hit each other, it creates the flow of water. And so the more you have, the higher the resolution, because you can get more waves and more interaction. But of course, the more interaction you have, the slower it gets. And at some point, you're simulating millions of points into millions of points, and your computer just, doesn't work for days, basically. Like,
you do know what you're talking about.
Sometimes, well, look, the ones that my specialism in CGI was these simulations, right? So it's like the one thing I can confidently talk about, and the rest I'm just like, it's the stuff I've learned on my degree mostly, to be fair.
Yeah, see, you're not just a pretty face. You can't just talk about movies. You know what you're doing.
I know things.
I know about CG.
Is there anything else you want to say on this then?
On the movie or on the ride?
Both.
I think I'm good. This is a good movie. I like the choreography's great. The fight in the little barn, blacksmith barn, really good. When was the last time you saw that in a movie? Good choreography.
Oh yeah, that's a really good point. Well, to be fair, some of the Marvel movies actually have really good punches.
They do.
Like Captain America versus the Winter Soldier. They punch each other really good. But like sword fights and stuff are out. It hasn't been a good sword fight.
I was thinking, like, when was the last time a swashbuckling sword fight movie came out? I don't remember.
Well, this is the thing, apparently, when they made Pirates of the Caribbean. Apparently, like, pirate movies were a massive deal in like the 1930s or something like that. And they just got more and more expensive to make. I don't know why. I guess because they had to start looking better and better. Maybe the original ones were quite rubbish looking, but people bought into them because it was early films, and then, they have to get better and better, right? And it got too expensive, so they stopped making them. And so when they made this one, they wanted to make like the best pirate movie ever. You know what I mean? Really send the boat out, should we say, and have great sword fights, great sets, great action, everything big, loads of CGI and stuff, and like really do it right. And I think they actually did achieve their goal. Like, it is a proper, I don't know, it feels silly, but I would probably give this, if we're doing a little rating system, I don't know, I'd have to give this a 10. Like, there's nothing wrong with it at all. Oof. How much better could it be? This one. I think the next two are problems, but this one, 10 out of 10.
I might have to agree with you on that one. A 10 out of 10 for this movie. There is nothing I would say is bad with this movie or wrong with it.
Mm-hmm.
It's just is this a good like movie? Like watching this in the cinema probably was crazy.
Oh right? Yeah. I wonder if they ever re-released this. I know they re-released Star Wars recently and did really well. And so I wonder if they'll re-release stuff like this. Has it been re-released?
Probably. There's loads of cinemas that play like old films and stuff like that.
I guess, but I want to see it like a proper like 4K big. I guess the cinema films are 4K. But you know what I mean? Where you can watch, was it IMAX, that massive screen you can watch stuff on? If it's possible to watch this on it, that would be really cool.
IMAX? No, that's only for watching the Minecraft movie.
Did you watch it in IMAX?
Yeah, I did.
That is grim, bro. Yeah, I mean, otherwise, I think I would actually say this is a perfect movie. Like, aside from the ending, the ending. I gotta give it minus 0.5 for the ending. It's actually bad. I'm sorry, movie. The ending's actually bad.
They do just kind of say, like, they do kind of just say, like, hey, you know what? Everyone go home. We're letting you off.
Yeah, it's rubbish. It's like waking up in Alice in Wonderland. It's just like, oh, everyone gets away with it in the end. Like, I just think you didn't have to have that ending. You could have had them escape at sea, or they go here, or they go there. They just wanted to get everyone back into like their starting positions. I feel like Will is again a blacksmith, but now he's a bit more respected. Elizabeth's a lady again, but she's a bit more respected, and Jack's a pirate again, but he has the respect of those two. That's like it. Like, I don't know. It's a nice ending to the movie in terms of a nice cap off to a Hollywood upbeat film, but it's not a good ending in terms of all the characters and the direction of the narrative.
I get you, man. I'm not going to reduce my score because I don't seem like a sheep, like I'm following you.
Wow.
So I'm going to stick with my original.
Be a contrarian. Guns. Oh no, that's what you're doing. Yeah. Okay,
I am being contrarian to you.
I see. Okay. Yeah, I mean, otherwise, yeah, I think that was a good little pod. I guess if people want to leave their thoughts in the comments below and also let us know which films you want us to do. Oh, I actually meant to ask you, do you think you'll watch the next two?
If I have to. I'm not sitting here thinking, I've got to see the next two installments.
Really? Even though you give this film a 10?
Yeah, if anything, that makes me want to watch them less.
The next two are really good. They are really good, but there's a lot of meandering. Like, they've had to make 2 films, right? And they clearly had enough story for like 1.5 films. And so there's just bits where they'll go somewhere and do something, but it doesn't really build the overall plot. But it's also very, very, very well done, and it's really well executed. And I think they filmed them at the same time. So there's just this perfect continuity between the two. Like, it just works, basically. It's really good.
Just works.
It just works. But I'd still say the first one is by a long shot the better one.
Well, if the people at home want us to watch all of them,
yeah,
then I'll watch them.
Wow. Look at you sacrificing yourself for the greater good.
I'm the selfless one of us two.
That is true, actually. Right, should we wrap that up?
Cool.
Thanks for listening, everyone.
Bye.
Bye.